Let's talk about a feeling. A feeling I'm pretty sure you know well. It's that constant, low-grade hum of distraction in the back of your mind. We're going to call it the digital fog.
You know, this line from the writer Andrew Sullivan, wow, it's kind of startling, isn't it? It just perfectly captures that feeling that in our quest for constant connection, we might have lost something, well, something fundamentally human. So, does this sound familiar? You try to focus, you really do, but your day just gets shattered into these tiny little pieces, these fragments of time that are just too small to build anything meaningful. It's like trying to build a house with dust.
And guess what? There's a name for this feeling. It's called digital exhaustion. It's not about just one app or one website. No, it's the total cumulative effect of 1,000 tiny digital pings and notifications, all leaving you feeling drained and like you're not even in the driver's seat anymore.
Okay, but here's the kicker. This feeling, this exhaustion, it's not your fault. It's not an accident. It's not a bug in the system. It's a feature. To really get why we feel this way, you have to understand the system that's been built, very intentionally, to hijack your brain. So welcome to what's called the attention economy. You've probably heard the saying, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. And that's exactly what's going on. The whole game for so many of these platforms is to capture as much of your focus as they possibly can, because your attention, that's the real currency they're selling. And how good are they at this game? Well, check out this number, 85. Think about that. Just 10 years after the iPhone came out, that was the average number of times people would compulsively check their phones, every single day. That's not intentional use. That's a nervous twitch, an addiction loop, engineered on a global scale.
And look, don't just take my word for it. This is a direct quote from Sean Parker, the first president of Facebook. He literally said their thought process was, how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? And the answer they found was to tap directly into your brain chemistry.
So, how'd they do it? Well, here's the machine. It's a textbook addictive loop. It's all based on something called intermittent positive reinforcement. You post something, you wait for a reaction, and then you get a reward, a like, a comment, but you never know when it's coming. That unpredictability, that's the exact same psychological trick that makes a slot machine in Vegas so addictive. And it's what keeps you pulling that digital lever, refreshing your feed over and over again.
And this right here, this is probably the most important thing to take away from all of this. If you feel like you're losing the battle for your own attention, you have to know deep down, it is not your fault. This isn't a failure of willpower.
We beat ourselves up, right? We think, I just need to be more disciplined. But look at the reality of the situation. It's your single brain, your limited willpower, up against armies of the brightest engineers in the world, using supercomputers to figure out exactly how to break you. That's not a fair fight. Bill Maher put it, well, pretty bluntly. He compared the heads of social media companies to tobacco farmers in t-shirts. He says they're just selling an addictive product. It's a harsh way to put it, but it really makes you think, doesn't it? As he says, checking your likes is the new smoking.
So if the game is rigged, what do? Just give up? No way! A really powerful counter-movement has started to bubble up. It's not about throwing your phone in the ocean. It's a philosophy for taking back control.
And that philosophy is called digital minimalism. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's radical. You don't start with the tech, you start with you. You figure out what you deeply value in your life, and then you ask, okay, is this piece of tech the absolute best way to support that value? And if the answer is no, you let it go, and you don't feel bad about it for 1 second. This right here shows the trade-off we're making all the time, usually without even realizing it. On one side, you have this endless stream of low-quality connection, likes, retweets, emojis. The alternative? Trading all of that for high-quality conversation, real, face-to-face time with people. You know, the stuff our brains were actually designed for.
All right, so the philosophy sounds great in theory, but how do you actually put it into practice? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are the actual concrete steps you can take to start reclaiming your own mind?
That's always the big question, isn't it? Where do you even start when it feels so overwhelming? Well, it's not about some giant, dramatic gesture. It's really just about intentionally creating a little bit of space for yourself so you can decide what you actually want your life to look like. Here are a few really powerful ideas. One of the biggest game changers for so many people, just delete the social media apps from your phone. That's it. You can still check them on a computer, but it breaks that compulsive, twitchy, in-your-pocket loop.
Another big one is to swap all that mindless scrolling with high-quality leisure. Actually learning a skill, building something, getting outside. Stuff that actually recharges you instead of just draining the battery.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most important question you can ask yourself. This is the heart of the whole thing. What is one thing, just one, that you value more than the easy, endless distraction of your screen? Because once you can name that thing, you've found your anchor. That's your starting point for taking back your focus and for building a life that is truly and intentionally your own.